people of the internet, how do? I'm the Efkin Guy, and this is Total Cocktail Presents Nona. And as promised, we are going to be covering the entire filmography of Paris Hilton. Just kidding, we're going to be covering the film Escape. To find out whether it's better or worse than the entire filmography of Paris Hilton, you need to stay tuned. Here's the trailer for it.
Tamsin! Check this out. Wanna go for a dip?
Do I? I wanna be first in line. Yeah, I wanna make that mine. Need to get ahead of it.
Girls on holiday?
No. This is our job.
How's it going out there?
It's so beautiful.
Just be careful.
I will, Mom.
I may have something for you. Maybe two.
What do they want with us? Isn't it obvious?
Just,
Look at us.
oh yeah, it's on. It's fine.
Hello.
Hi. Sorry. I was like, is this working? Zoom, hello? In the most usual Nona way. Yeah, my apologies. I made a cup of tea and then was like, actually wouldn't mind eating some toast as well. So I've made toast.
Have you got peanut butter on the toast?
No, just normal margarine. Because I can't eat dairy, but I do sometimes miss that how luxurious butter feels when you have it on there. But then I say luxurious, I think it's more I just miss salt.
Recently moved that to, well, vegan butter anyway. I don't quite get the difference. I don't think I've ever have, so.
Yeah, I tried the vegan stuff because obviously with me not being able to have dairy, like I do have that sometimes. But I don't know. I don't know how to describe how it's different. The margarine for me at least is better. I can't believe I'm coming into this like just talking about margarine. Like, how old am I again?
20.
That was how old I was when you met me. I was like easily 24, 25, I think, when I first encountered you across the interwebs.
Yikes.
And I am now almost 38.
Oh dear. I'm getting way too old for this.
Yeah, I feel that.
Actually, I'm peak age for podcasting, apparently 45. 45 bald and beard.
Well, I don't know I don't know where I fall into like peak podcasting. 30, nearly 38, goth.
Maybe YouTube star? YouTube podcast?
Yeah, but what would I YouTube about? I think this is the thing, right? Because a lot of people, when they do that kind of stuff, they tend to do like something quite niche. I don't know, like I don't think anybody wants to have a full YouTube series of here's everything I've hyperfixated on this week.
Yeah, I have the issue of not being able to niche down on anything, which is why the podcast has gone so randomly over the years. It's like gone from general or films and then to religion, politics, etc.,
Yeah.
and then to quizzes where you get in-depth rabbit holes about other things, just anything you wanted to that week, celebrities, B-list movie stars, Chris Tucker.
But Lindsay Lohan went so well.
Yeah. So I have started recording, by the way.
I know. When I came in, it said, this is recording. And I was like, okay.
Capturing all of this. It's all gold. It's all going in.
I guarantee. Yeah. Well, this is the thing, right? I know you well enough now to know that if I say something, it could appear anywhere, even at the end as signing off. Just that little snippet is that like this is how I will be remembered.
You'll be pleased to know the Lohan series has done well online. It's by this time actually it'll probably be about 10,000 views, the whole series.
Wow, that's a lot.
About 12 people made it towards the end. So only 12 people know you messed up Gretchen Wiener.
Oh, well, I'm glad that that's the only number, to be honest, because I really don't need that report. Like, that'd be a hate crime. Like, and they'd be rightly to report me for that too. The fact that I forgot.
All the Wiener fans.
Yeah. There's a lot of them.
It's mostly Indians in the age, or male Indian people, 25 to 45. That's my demographic, apparently. I'm thinking they're just seeing the runtime and thinking it's a film.
Potentially, yeah.
But then the other popular one I've got is Backyard Dogs, which I'm not sure 2,500 people want to watch that film.
Maybe they do. Maybe they did. And they hard relate.
It's Backyard Wrestlers in the year 2000.
Oh. Yeah, I can hard relate to that. I was backyard wrestling when I was like 15.
I should have had you on for that series. It was supposed to be a proper series, but it ended up just being one person.
It was just me and my mates in the back garden, admittedly. Like, one of my closest friends in school, he had, well, two of them, James and Carl. James's stepdad built him a proper ring, like full springboarded everything ring, right? But that only came out on special occasions, like when there was a big family barbecue. So the rest of the time we were at Carl's house. And in Carl's back garden, it was like fully bricked. And they had built a ring out of 2x4. And the ropes were made of 2x4. And it was literally all just nailed together, right?
So it was a box. A wooden box.
It was literally a box, yeah. But like
a crate.
With like 2 strips of wood around the sides, right? And I spent many Saturday afternoons hanging with my friends, being thrown into things that I probably now are the reason why I have some pains that I have, because I was not a trained wrestler. I say this, like, the worst injury I ever got from it, because I did get hurt from it, was I slipped down the side and grazed my ankle. Otherwise...
Tragedy.
I know.
Nick Foley's got nothing
awful.
on you.
But, like, literally, that was one of the best times of my whole entire existence. Like, it's no wonder I never saw myself as a girl. I used to be with the boys all the time anyway. Like, and we'd be watching wrestling and playing computer games. That was, like, our thing. Like, Carl passed away when he was 19. And we all got, like, back together again. But it was never, like, the same afterwards. And that's when you realise that one person, that little shit, he was shorter than me. He was the reason we were still all mates, probably. Bless him. It's wild. It's absolutely wild.
So everybody, this is Nona.
Hi, sorry. Do you want to do a proper introduction? Because I am sat eating my toast. Like,
no, it's fine. Sorry. Well,
this is
we're all of it. I was struggling to think of an intro, really. It's like, that'll do.
Here's an introduction to today's episode. We will be looking at an absolute modern masterpiece. It was released originally, I believe, in 2023, with some releases, I believe in Thailand, actually. I did see it had a cinematic release.
Ooh, done more research than I did.
I
had the press pack as well. I didn't read it.
Oh, well, I did. At least I went and looked on ID.
We are talking about the same film here.
Yes.
Escape. Yep, cool.
Yes. I believe it had a release in Thailand, like in 2023. It originally was like, it's not released here at all yet.
Yeah. Okay, the press I've got is written and directed by Howard J. Ford, who also wrote and directed The Ledge, Never Let Go, and The Dead. Escape stars Sarah Alexandra Marks from Witch and The Caller, Sophie Rankin from Bermondsey Tales and DarkGame, and Sean Cronin from Bogieville and Mission Impossible Rogue Nation and The Mummy Returns. which I probably have seen one of them. But he is likely Guy from Left next to Tomb in makeup.
What they're really missing out on here is whilst they're giving all of these names, right? Sarah Alexandra Marks, okay, they've given those films.
Mm.
If I remember correctly, she has been in The Killing Tree, which quite frankly, I'm looking now, because I did go and look to see. They've all been in, one way or another, one of the most ridiculous and potentially awful horror movies you can ever imagine at some point. Yeah, she was. She was in The Killing Tree, along with the one of the other actors that is in it as well, actually. The Killing Tree, if you've never seen it, beautiful film. It's fucking awful, and yet I love it all at the same time.
The Killing Tree. Okay, we'll put that on the long list, and we'll see if we can get worse.
It's amazing. Like, you'll enjoy it, but it has some of the best. There's a scene in it, when you see it, you'll be like, I understand. It's the best scene I've ever seen in cinema, and as soon as you see it, you'll get it.
I think Sophie Rankin was in Gangster's Kiss as well, which I reviewed a couple of weeks back, and that was awful. I believe she was a blonde girl in it.
And
Pretty much to credit.
I was gonna say, like, this feels like how the best. I don't remember any of their character names.
I did have to make a note of some of them. Okay, carry on with the press. After being abducted from a remote island resort, 10 trafficked women find themselves in the clutches of a ruthless criminal gang. Desperate to survive in the harsh desert, 2 of the women devise a bold escape plan, igniting their fight for freedom. It's actually available on the 30th of September, which I think is today in podcast days.
Wow. Sorry, I just realised I'm like Time Lord now.
So yeah, very simple premise to the film. It is essentially the same as a load of exploitation films of the 70s, like women in prison type movies, women captive in somewhere and getting back and having their revenge on the captors. Those are 70s though, so they're incredibly sexualized and exploitative. Even when the women get their own back, they'll probably be topless or whatever, and like all for the lads kind of deal. It's 2024 though. We don't make those films anymore, right? Don't make them at all.
No, absolutely not.
I mean, from a production perspective, we were doing this. We're not going to be overly sexualizing the women at all, and aiming this product at not going to be aiming it at the men at all. No, right? Correct.
Sure.
Yeah.
It kind of reminded me of like Love Island. Like, I was waiting for like Ian Sterling and Laura Whitmore to just like start talking.
There would have been a bit more variety in terms of cast though. I know there is the whole thing of the people want blonde women. So all 10 of the women are blonde.
They are all blonde, yes.
It's hard to keep track of them.
Yeah, because they all look very similar as well. And this, like, I feel like this is so unfair because they're all beautiful women. But I couldn't remember their names. One of them I just had to nickname Quality Ass, and even then I lost track of who that person was. Because that was what one of the guys in the film nicknamed her, and then I couldn't remember which one that was after that.
Was it Carla or Tamsin? Because they were the first two, the main two you think you're going to be following.
Well, I thought it was Lucy.
Lucy was the one that come into it about 20 minutes in.
Yeah, but this was said during the beach scene, so they were all on the beach. And Carla and Tamsin had gone and had like... They'd gone to the beach and whatever. Lucy had already been introduced. And then there was a scene where they're sat in the guys are sat in the car with they only said magnifying glasses.
Binoculars?
Binoculars. Thank you.
I
love the thought of them with a magnifying glass though. Like, oh yes. That is a blonde woman. You're right.
It's a no, periscope. Maybe
Yeah.
maybe one of them. That would have worked a little bit better.
A
But
zoom in.
zoom in a
And
wrap.
there was a woman in a blue bikini doing yoga, but it was like on some rocks, and I don't think that was Carla or Tamsin because they were on the beach. But one of them was wearing blue. So I don't remember, but it was whoever it was who was in that bikini, who was doing yoga near some rocks, who got called quality ass, and I think it was Lucy. I think.
Yeah, I mean, at least the guys had some sort of defining features. They were generic, but you had the eye patch guy, the herpes guy, and Jason Samosa.
I'm so glad I wasn't the only one who looked at him and thought, oh my God, he needs to see a doctor immediately.
Yeah, I don't know if that was a character choice or makeup choice, or he actually had it because it was like, oh, that's.
It was
unfortunate.
really bad. Like, it looked painful.
But then if he's like a sleazy guy, maybe it is a makeup choice.
Yeah, I want to give a big shout out to Chelsea, who was the special effects makeup artist on this film. Because at one point there was some missed gunshots on people's bodies that I really thoroughly enjoyed. And I don't know if that was Chelsea or the special effects guys, but yeah, she threw it out of the park on some of it.
That's one thing that's quite good. It's like there was some eye trauma, quite nice.
I mostly enjoyed how they all looked like they'd invaded the Halloween scars section at the supermarket because they all had the same one on their arm. I think that was one of my favorite observations. It's like it's all the same thing. They've queued up at Morrison's here.
Maybe they were abducted the same way. Because I know they're in. Was it 10 girls get taken to this
But
shady
they weren't,
character's house?
because they were discussing this because one of them wasn't knocked out. I can't remember. Oh, she was dragged off the streets and then she was knocked out. Another one was drugged. Tamsin and Carla were just dragged from their house.
Yeah.
And all because Jude, who, I'm sorry, was supposed to believe is a lovely guy, by the way.
But he's got a grandkid that's sick. Is it a grandkid? I don't know if it was a grandkid. It was a kid.
It was his kid. It was his kid. The thing I really enjoyed about it was like, oh, maybe we should make Jude not the bad guy. Okay. How are we going to do that then? We'll give him a kid. Awesome.
Yeah, he has to do it because he's got a kid to pay for some surgery for.
Yeah, and I've never wished for anyone still to die.
Okay, we will have a 2-minute spoiler zone at the end of the episode because I'm trying to keep it, a little bit, a bit of a.
I never said whether he dies or not.
I know.
I've just
you want him to die, even though he's a nice guy, really.
He has a selection of one Hawaiian shirt.
But yeah, they're all abducted different ways, and I don't know where this place is, but it's like an anti-tourist advertisement for women. It's like you go there, you can't do anything without getting abducted.
Where can I?
Just existing, maybe.
I've forgotten. Where was the film supposed to be set? Was it like Spain?
They said something like Porto Ventura, which I kind of half heard and wrote in, but it's like a holiday camp, Porto Ventura. So I don't know if they just made a place up. They're not, because any country this was set in and they said it, they'd be like,
I was going to say, because the accents
fuck?
of the police was Russian. I don't know if you noticed that. And I will say this too, when they descended into the kitchen of one of the moms, what I really enjoyed about that scene was how, there was a discussion beforehand where they went, okay, we've really got to get our accents straight. So who is going to do an American accent and who is just going to maybe just roll with it and see what happens? And there was a guy who went, I'll do an American accent because I believe it's going to be more dramatic. Like, okay, cool. What about you? Yeah, I'm going to agree. Like, I have absolutely no business in being part of any sort of British operation to find a missing girl, but I will do a generic American accent. Okay, cool. We've got this covered. And then it rolled around to one of the women and she went, "That's just stupid. I'm using my own accent." And that's what she did. It was great.
Yeah, this was the other side of it where they went to the parents of the abducted girls, and it was a massive search was arranged because they hadn't updated the social media accounts for more than 40 hours.
Yeah,
And it was all done because I believe it's Carla's family is loaded.
So Carla's family's apparently loaded, but we don't know why.
I don't think it's really that important. It's just the fact that it's if you're pretty, blonde, and white, and rich, that's how we put together a massive search and rescue mission.
I'm going to say it does matter, given that we also had to listen to Carla's law. You know, about, I mean, again, no spoilers here, but there's a nice little bit of trauma dumping that happens. And we had to hear about it, but that still doesn't explain where Carla's money came from. And I'm going to say this, for what happened, and given the money, if Carla's parents can afford, indeed, to get in, I guess, the Secret Service.
Yeah, because they had like satellite.
Yeah, then
mobile phone records being traced, or mobile phones being traced, and
exactly what happened. A, they would have been able to prevent it for many reasons, but B, if you expect me to believe that she did not have help as a child, rubbish, absolute balderdash. Carla, stop trying to relate to people.
I mean, going back to the people hired to help find you, you've got the main guy conjuring his best Tommy Lee Jones impression from The Fugitive.
Was that who it was supposed to be?
Well, it's the old any outhouse, steakhouse speech from The Fugitive he tries to do. It falls flat. But then one of my favourite parts is he's scolding the hostage negotiator about his motives and calls out his use of alcohol as a crutch because of some trauma he suffered in another film somewhere. As this line is like, what the fuck are we... What is this film from a different film? It's a bit too specific, and it's like, I don't know this guy, I don't care about him, he's suddenly become a character.
It's like they started to flesh people out and then gave up.
It's just workshopping. Let's put these people in the house for like 2 days and went, right, these are your accents, right, this is your motivation, go for it.
Like, they brought the mums in, right? They brought the mums in. And, like, I know if it were me, because obviously I have kids. I have a grown-up child. And if he went missing, there'd not be a chance I'd walk in there, like, throw my coat down and be like, "You need to find my son!" It wouldn't be that dramatic. I'd just sob and be like, "I just want to find him again." That's literally all it would be. Like, I don't know. There was so many things that I just was like, this is not what a trauma looks like or feels like. Like, I don't know if that is because I am surrounded by a lot of live, laugh, toaster math people that, like, we do tend to raw dog our trauma and be like, "Lol, that was funny, ha ha ha," about it. Because I think that was the other thing. Like, there was some really serious subjects, like, in it. Obviously, there was some really serious subjects that they still didn't make me want to care, and that's not me being cruel. It's that they just seemed to come out of nowhere. Like, oh, this thing happened, and, like, don't get me wrong, some of it made sense and, like, further on in the film. And then the ending of the film is spectacular. Not even the, like, it's just, it ends and it's an ending. It's a choice.
Yeah.
I almost felt like they went, wow, we've done an hour and a half. We need to wrap this up.
There was a lot of runtime. Need filler. Okay, give this girl some trauma as well.
The thing
Give blonde number 6 some trauma, and we'll kill her off in the next scene anyway, because a lot of them just screamed fodder.
There was the thing with the actual story is it actually has a hell of a lot of potential as a film. Like, I will say that. Like, I think if you were going to have a retribution film, because I think this is why, like, it intrigued me for sure, because you do want to hear the stories of the, people who go through that kind of stuff, who valiantly fight back and manage to escape, right? That's what you want out of humanity, is the innocent people to, win over the bad guys, right? But because they tried so hard to make it personable, whilst, putting in a whole bunch of the cliches that you would get out of, like, what I would see as B movies, it was flat and disjointed. Like, there was moments when I was like, oh, that actually was really good. But then it would, like, there'd be something that had happened, like a fucking voice changer had come in, like, you Midge, and ruin it, like, straight away. And I'd be like, goddamn, like, you almost had that part.
I mean, I saw the premise for it and it's like, okay, it's an obviously exploitation film premise, but you're gonna do it differently, right? As I said, like in the intro to the thing, it's like you're not expecting like male gaze crotch level shots on women when you're aiming a film at being a bit girl powery and empowering, and you got all these, I'll say, the serious subjects brought up with the trauma.
It's a serious subject
in
it's a serious subject in the first place, because particularly if you look at the news at the moment, we know of one, I'm not going to mention names, but there is some alleged case at the moment, court case, with an alleged, I guess we'd call them influencer, where they have been alleged to been involved in see how many times I'm saying it, sex trafficking. And that's a serious subject. Sorry, I'm also eating a mouthful of toast.
professional.
I was like sat here eating it whilst thinking. It's my contemplative toast.
As long as it's not peanut butter, okay.
Yeah, just sit here like, I need a drink now. I think you can make a film that has serious subjects that is for the male gaze. I will say this. For two reasons. One, because I think that any way to trick someone into watching something about a very serious subject and them learning something from it is 100% something I am for. And two, I don't think this was as exploitative as other films that I have seen, as, do you know what I mean? As it could have, as it has been when we've previously had, trying to think of ones in particular. The only one that comes to mind is like Gore Girls, which is obviously, it's set in a strip club and women get murdered and there's a lot of boobs and a woman gets a steak beat across her backside with a meat tenderizer. It's actually one of my favorite pieces of cinema because it's so bad and yet it's also very funny. So when I think about like those kinds of things and the fact that I don't feel this could have been a lot more, were there moments when it absolutely felt like they said to them, "We need you to supermodel walk that part"? Abso-fucking-lutely. There was one part I can't remember, like it was Tamsin. I can't remember where she'd walked from, but she walked. Oh, it's when they came to get her, and she was walking to basically see where Carla had got to, and it was very blue steel. And I don't, again, absolutely gorgeous woman. I will say this, like, I wish I could have, have at any lifetime have had a body like hers. It was unreal. But like the fact that those moments were put in, at times deflected away from the fact that this is an actual thing that is happening. And it's not happening on quite as dramatic a scale as this, in terms of women being abducted. It's actually happening in a far more covert way, when it comes to trafficking. I'm not saying that women aren't being snatched for traffic purposes, because that will be happening as well. But there are far more covert measures for women to be trafficked. And yeah, I don't know. It's difficult. It's a very sensitive subject. And I don't know how well they did at handling it, if that makes sense. Actually, the issue, not the retribution, the issue.
I think with a lot of the films you can probably reference from 70s exploitation grindhouse stuff, you can see through the 16mm filter. It was like, it's that age. It's a long time ago, so the attitudes were a lot different. And, hitchhiking across country wasn't an issue until it was. And then you have to sort of change the way you view things and show things. And it's changed a lot since 1970s, so like 50 years down the line. You've got to maybe approach this with a different perspective. I don't think this guy is the right one to be doing this.
Yeah.
Yeah. If they did it, I don't even think they can do this as like a straight out girl power retribution kind of thing. That's just taking it too lightly.
I mean, I think they still could have. I just think that taking two girls, cutting down the number of women they had, because there was no need for there to be that many women in the cell.
That's the thing. You watch horror films, you know who's going to get killed, or you know who's up for the cut. It's like, okay, those,
because there's always a final girl, isn't there? And the ones that speak and the ones that don't. That's how you can measure it.
Yeah, and there were some that are just a bit too. That's a bit unnecessary. And they did Tamsin dirty in that one as well. Just not like the opening scene is her, so you think it's going to revolve around her. She's in the opening bit with Carla, and you go, okay, she's going to come back and do something, and then no.
Yeah, the Tamsin part, I agree with you. Actually, because, and do you know what? I don't think I really heard her speak a lot either in the entire film.
Yeah, I think she's more of a model than an actor, so maybe they got to a point, it's like, oh, we're going to have this big retribution story for her, but then she's model walking the way into the place with a gun.
But then if that's the case, you don't have that person cast for the part. Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like there was so much they could have done. Cut the number of women down. Don't make a character, bad guy, good guy. I don't give a fuck. If someone is looking for women and luring women for sex trafficking purposes, it doesn't matter what reasons they're doing it for. They are not a good person. So I couldn't care less, right? And make it so that these women have far more fleshed out, like they needed to flesh them out more in the beginning. Allow us to understand how much time had passed, because I don't know about you, but I got no sense of time from this film. Like, obviously, it started, and that was a flashback scene. But then it seemed to go from flashback scene to we're now at this beautiful holiday resort. Oh my God, the parents are really worried. Holy shit, what's happened? And all I could see was they'd been gone like an afternoon. Now, I'm going to be very fucking honest with you. Sometimes I don't hear from my kid for like a whole day until the evening when he's come downstairs going, "What's for tea?" Like,
There was a point where they did say the foreign authorities wouldn't do anything because they hadn't been officially missing for 24 hours and they hadn't posted on social media for 40 hours. So there was a little bit there, but like you say, it's not. I mean, my parents haven't heard from me since I got back from Berlin.
yeah,
That
there
was a
is
week
not
ago.
a single parent. There's not a single, like, don't get me wrong. I sort of understand it in the social media age. Like, I think there is a nod to the fact that there will be people who are very chronically online. But it still didn't make sense to the fact that, like, how panicked they were getting. Like, oh no, like, they've been gone so long and we've heard nothing. Like, have you heard nothing? Or, like, this is helicopter parenting. Leave them alone. I mean, obviously, don't leave them alone because they were sex trafficked, and they were right on. But the flip side of that is still, yeah, I don't know. I find it very confusing.
Okay, let's wrap this up. It looked all right. Acting levels varied. Not sure who it's for though.
Yeah, I don't know either. And I will say that because I don't feel like there was, it wasn't massively sexual. I'll say this. I'll say that word. There wasn't a lot of that, the slow-mos or anything like that, close-ups. There wasn't a lot of that. It wasn't really an action film. Because I'm sorry, although I will say I admire Carla. Is it Sarah? Her name? Yeah, Sarah. Being able to run in fucking wedged mules across desert, like chef's kiss, well done. She deserves an award just for being able to pull that off. Um, yeah, I don't know. It was all right. I didn't feel I'd wasted all of my time. And I've watched some real shit, so
Okay, that's going on the poster.
no, I really have that and we know this.
Okay, where can we find Nona online these days?
You can find me on Twitter, at Nona Marana. Same place, never left. I've died and, been on spaceships and all kinds of shit. Still there.
Okay, and you find my stuff at totalcultzone.com. All my stuff is on there. Go look at my stuff. And we'll be going to a 2-minute spoiler zone in a second after the music is finished. We'll get 10 seconds of silence. It's live silence as well.
Say that wasn't disturbing at all. That should have been in the film.
The spoiler zone is about to start. If you don't want the film spoiled, and why would you? Please turn off now. It's your own fault if you don't. Okay, we've started. Do you want to go for the ending? I think you enjoyed it.
I really enjoyed the fact that the ending, I fully enjoyed the special effects on seeing a penis get cut off. But I love how it went from that to them just stood in the rain. Like, oh, we've been blessed by the rain. It was very that. And I was like, okay, like it's like they went, how the fuck are we going to finish this? We'll just have you stood in the rain. Cool. I can do that.
Yep. I'm glad what's his face got killed.
Jude.
Yep, he got killed. Not happy with Tamsin getting off screen.
Yeah, I didn't enjoy that either. Like, I feel like she should have been allowed to escape.
Hmm.
Especially since when she did the killing of Dollar Store
Oh, yeah.
Aquaman, um, she the when she stood up, actually, it was quite a I actually liked that image of when she was stood there and then the blood spurted out of her. It was beautiful. And I felt like she should have been at least allowed to find somebody.
Hmm.
And yeah.
That was actually like promising watching that. It's like, that's great. She did the self defense I want in horror films where it's like you don't stop stabbing the guy until he's a stain
Yeah,
or
yeah.
hitting him with something. It's like he's not moving anymore. Hit him again.
I'll also say that using a bread knife to kill someone, I don't understand what she did with that bread knife, with the first slash, that made him have blood come out of his mouth because it was a bread knife. Like,
So
that's not.
time up.
Damn, is it finished?